and welcome to the Blue House Bull Session. Happy to be here bulling with you on Wednesday, November umpteenth. Today, whatever today may happen to be. I hope you're all well, doing good today. The weather is definitely indecisive up here in the Atlantic northeast, west, Midwest, northeast. Coming to you from the sunny shores of Lake Erie. Man, it has been a year. It has been a year. But before we get into all of that, you'd mentioned you had something you wanted to rant about a little bit, and it's really piqued my curiosity because I love to hear this stuff. What is on your mind today, Fuzzy?
Okay. I have a software I use called Fences. It's by, I think it's Stardock. Yeah. I don't know. Yes, it's by Stardock,
Yeah.
which makes window blinds from, 19 when that was how you modified, Windows theming, and also a bunch of really great space themed strategy games for some reason. It, yeah, same company. Makes no sense. Anyway, it lets you put fences around icons on your desktop, right? And you can do things with them. Sometimes that window can be that fence is a portal to a folder, like a live update, or it's just I put a box around them, so you don't have just one unilateral grid across your desktop. You could say,
Yeah.
here are apps, here are things, like you put little fences around them, and they can roll up and move out of the way. Like it actually very is useful. And you can also say, hey, when new icons show up on the desktop, put them in this put them in this fence. I'm going to put that over here and not just left aligned. And you can say when icons of a certain type, like when I new text files, put them over here because I need to find those quickly or whatever.
Yeah, my
Or
virtual
like,
post-its.
well, it's also useful because you can say you can identify, like, oh, I don't know, Steam links, which are the Steam ID protocol, and say put them over here in the games one.
Yeah.
It's just got a lot of functionality. It's really great. I actually pay for it. I bought version 4. It was only a couple dollars. They have a bug.
Uh-oh.
Okay. First of all, they are multi-desktop, multi-screen aware, sort of, but they have a bug. And I don't know if it's a bug only I have, because nobody else has really complained about this. And either they only use 2 desktops and not 3, which is when they've never hit this. But every once in a while, because the fences will, the okay, the people at Stardock are very intelligent people. They do a lot of intelligent things in the software. With your screen changes sizes, like, oh, I don't know, I plugged in a monitor to a laptop, it'll scale or not, or it's got options to do things. But every once in a while, when I reboot, somehow, however they're storing the reference to which monitor it's on, is using some wrong way that Windows or Microsoft wants you to identify a monitor, and my monitor IDs will flip.
Hmm.
But it's not like, oh, my 2 non-primary ones will flip. It's sometimes just between my 3 monitors, it's a fucking shell game every time I reboot. But I think it's storing them by, like, effectively whatever the monitor version of a Mac address is,
Yeah.
and not the logical number. So it's like, oh, we're saving this on monitor 2. Except sometimes Windows changes which monitor is 2.
It
So
just kind of
some of
redecides.
here's where my rant is. Some randomly, some of my fences will randomly when I reboot and the monitor IDs change, will be on the wrong monitor. Not all of them, not like, oh, all things that were on two is now the left monitor, so all the ones that were on two are over here. No, just one random fence. Not even the same one. It's not like, oh, we only support up to 48 and you have a 49th one and it is undefined and doesn't get ported and moves over. No, it's a random one. It's never the same ones. It is totally just insane. It just, but it keeps the position. It knows it's at X50 and Y 1000, but it's on a different monitor. What's really dumb is it makes a daily backup of the position of all your things. It's like, oh, I want to roll back. It keeps a rolling 3-day backup. I
Yeah.
can literally hit restore on the thing that it is, and sometimes they'll move back because whatever they backed up has the correct things in it, and sometimes not. And I got to a point, I wrote a tool because, like I said, it stores them by like the monitor hardware ID.
Yeah.
No, it stores them by desktop, but it stores them in a weird way. I can go into that backup file and edit it. It's just like a big XML file in intelligent design. Somebody designed it this way. There's no way that the data just evolved that way. But this is the dumbest way to store this information. I can manually edit that and then go back to the control panel, hit and like do a global search and replace, find all references to 3, replace it to Q, go find all the other 3s, change them to P, and then like three-way shell game the IDs between 1, 2, and 3 to whichever thing the right thing is. Then reload that in the software, like restore from this backup, and it puts them back in the right place. But all I have to do is shuffle which monitor it's on. They apparently refused to fix this in version 4 because they were radio silent for the longest time because they were coming out with version 5. I get that. Version 5 is now a subscription service. You cannot outright buy it. I get recurring revenue. I get that. As a software developer, I get that. It's a whole big ass business. But there's no reason, there's no online connectivity. There's no recurring cost to them. I'm not going to pay you annual only a subscription to a piece of software that is not going to change across time. So I refuse to go to version 5. So I live with this bug. Which is half the reason I never reboot my goddamn computer. I think you are muted or my headphones died. I cannot
No,
hear
that
you.
was me. That was me. I, I,
Okay.
I definitely, I'm with you in that I understand the premise of a subscription service, and I understand from a business point of view, it can make sense, but it is just so gross. So gross. And like you said, especially because there's no cost involved.
I potentially understand there is an ongoing cost to them because as Microsoft radically makes changes to Windows every goddamn minute, when they may have to, redo a thing. But it's one of those, the software at rest incurs no cost and makes no changes and needs no changes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not. It's a gross
Like,
model. It's a gross model.
it's $10 a year. or it's a one time. They do now have a they do now have a permanent license. They did not for the longest time, and I think it was people bitching like me, like, no, I don't want to pay you $10 a year for software that's not going to change. You can get it a one time permanent license for $30. So if you think you're going to get 10 year, 3 years out of it, blah blah.
Yeah, but still.
But at the same time, I paid $8 once for Fences 4 like 9 years ago or something.
This is one of those things that always flits through my mind a little bit when we talk about the future of Let's Cafe, if I can be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I have said up front, I don't want to be that. I'd love to keep adding stuff to it. I really would. I don't want a hard commitment to have to add stuff forever. Eventually, I'll run out of ideas, right? Or get bored or something. But I don't want you to have to pay a bunch of times for what's effectively the same thing. Nintendo burned me out on that in the very beginning. How many times have I bought Link's Awakening at this point? Cumulatively.
Twice. Well,
Plus Switch Online, plus the Game & Watch.
Game and Watch doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
No, you got a device out of that happens to have Link's Awakening on it.
I would still argue. I may be wrong, but I would still argue. But anyway, yeah, that is frustrating as all get out. It absolutely is.
Uh, I paid them $5 in 2016 to upgrade my Fences 3 license to Fences 4.
Granted, it's not a lot of money, but death by a thousand paper cuts. I'm trying to think what that raises an interesting question, and I think we've kind of discussed this before, but I'm really curious. What's the longest consecutive span for a software lifetime of something you're using now? What piece of software, even if it's gone through a bunch of different revisions and versions, have you been using the longest?
Well, as I'm scrolling through my Gmail account here, I have a receipt from November 10th, 2012 for when I bought my Fences 2 key. Like I said, I have been using this software for a very long time, but people have seen your desktop in passing, and you're just
Yeah,
un-
it's
I am a
bad. It's real
I am
bad.
somewhat of a pro user of a computer.
Yeah.
So, uh, um, Fences I've used for a long time. Ultramon, the multi monitor thing, I've used that for approximately a million years also, because again, it was a thing that Windows did not natively do very well.
Yeah, and it's improved a lot over time, but there are still things that aren't quite right.
I don't think so. I really debated even reinstalling it. I don't know if there's anything left in there. Like even having multiple different wallpapers on different monitors is native in Windows now. It's the UI is a little janky, but yeah, no, it's it supports it. Even that I can drag a program to another monitor and the item on the taskbar only goes to that. There's an option to like only put it on that monitor. that's native in Windows now. That was the main reason I used Ultramon for God, almost I'd say almost 20 years.
Yeah,
But
it's true.
I also was on the multi-monitor train
Earlier than some of the rest of us,
ev-
yeah.
ever. Yeah.
I can't believe I was such a holdout on that at the beginning. And it has made worlds of difference, literally, in the way I work.
Well, you're even still in like in a totally non-derogatory. You're like still in the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
You're still like wading it up to your knees. You've seen my setup and my
Yeah.
master cockpit. Like
Yeah.
ignore the mess on the desk, but like you now you understand how I got so much stuff done at work for 15 years.
It's also making significantly it makes me reconsider how I want mine set up.
Yeah. I think for you, you would do good with one of these developer monitors, one of the wider ones,
Yeah.
because you like the either one of those or one of those actual true like big one spanning thing, although those have a little bit of weird problems, but only if like you play games with weird UI scaling.
Yeah.
Because being able to hit maximize on a window is very nice. Um, but yeah, I think you need a bigger. I think you need a larger single monitor. I might actually have a. I think I have a 32-inch over there. You can have. I think that's 30. No, that's 32. I don't know. Whatever the hell that the big one over there is, you can have it. You have to get a new mount and redo some of your desk, but
I can do that. I'm thinking maybe around my birthday I might switch desks or something.
you wanted to talk Twitch
I
recaps
wanted to
and
talk recaps in general. We're at the end of the year and a lot of companies it I feel like Spotify unwrapped, right?
yeah,
Spotify wrapped, not unwrapped, wrapped. Spotify led the way. Spotify opened it up and started sending you, what the heck did you even do this year?
yeah,
YouTube Music came out with theirs shortly thereafter, and I think it was last year was the big flood of every company rushing to do one. Twitch has done one for a little while as well, and that one's particularly interesting to us. But I wanted to tell you what I have not seen yet this year, and I don't know if it's coming or not. I don't know if they're going to bother to do it again. Is one of those from Grubhub. Because
oh
I
man, you
received one of those at one point from Grubhub, and it told me what item I ordered the most of, and where we ordered most frequently from, and all of those things, and it was fantastic. Do you know what my number one ordered item that year was? I'm pretty sure it was last year. Take a wild guess.
from okay. I want to ask one qualifying question.
Okay.
Is this something you ordered or something we ordered for dinner?
It is something I ordered.
Bob Evans.
Can you tell me the item? You're right on the restaurant. Can you tell me the item?
So the obvious answer would be the cup and or bowl of gravy and biscuits.
Family sized gravy and biscuits. You nailed it.
Yeah.
100%. Because I would order one a week and just chew on it for the rest of the week.
Yeah, because you could get the big quart of gravy, and
Yeah.
that's, you know, at least 2 meals, maybe three, depending on how munchy you were.
Yeah. Get one at the start of the week and just kind of nurse it over the course of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I hope they do that again because I really enjoy seeing The food trends over the course of the year. There are a lot of businesses I wouldn't mind seeing that for. I hate that I know they're collecting and selling that information too, and they just show it to you as a consolation prize. But
Oh, so okay, TikTok. We're gonna gloss over any weird. We're gonna ignore any political stuff. Okay, TikTok is getting banned, so you should go download and back up your data. And then someone said, this is a very readable format. I could make a thing that parses and effectively make Spotify Wrapped for TikTok data. So all these people, so there's somebody going around saying, "Oh, go look at your TikTok Unwrapped. Just go download your data backup and go upload it to this totally random site." Not realizing all the stuff that's in that backup because it's all of your information. I don't think there's anything private in there, but it's
all of your
it's
information nonetheless, yeah.
it is also direct URLs to all of your private videos,
Yeah.
which you can go to as on. I don't think the private, but like the unlisted ones that like you can send a link to them, but it's got the direct like not S3 but the direct like S3 bucket URLs to those, and people were like, "Oh no, what did I do?" Just for the sake of you know, I want to look at this thing. Flashbacks to you know 2008, like, oh, go paste this thing, go open your browser console and paste in this link and it'll show you this thing. And that's why Facebook has this. If you open the browser console for Facebook, there's this big ASCII text message: stop, nothing you're doing in here,
Yeah.
no, nothing, you cannot do anything. If somebody told you to do paste something here, no. They're actually the reason Chrome changed it. It by default disallows pasting into that console window.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like manually say, "Yes, I know. I want to allow paste." Like you have to type a human sentence to allow pasting because people were like pasting
Yeah.
stuff in there. Uh,
Man, oh man. Anyway, let me paste this real quick. I am continuing to help a friend complete some work, so I'm here, but in the background, just making sure that I do the right thing.
Top 10%. What is that? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you got your Twitch unwrapped?
Yeah.
Twitch recap. Twitch recap. You actually use Spotify, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
No?
No, I don't.
I'm not the
No.
only one. I feel so much better.
Okay. I did I do have a Spotify account. I eventually took one of the accounts that wasn't me and I renamed and actually claimed it. Just minor, in person identity theft,
Yeah,
reverse identity theft,
I know what you mean.
identity gifting. Um, and I used it because there was somebody that was uploading their podcasts to Spotify because they had a beef against Apple, so they didn't want to put in an Apple podcast, and they were only releasing their podcast on Spotify. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll go actually use Spotify just to listen to their podcast and their podcast alone. And that's all I use it for. And then I think I like followed you and Rob Kovacs, and that's it. And I don't even like ever actually use Spotify.
I get you.
Except for like the links Red sends me. She'll send me playlists of stuff, but I don't really use Spotify.
I feel it. I feel it.
I had I had Apple Music for the longest time is the thing. Cuz when I met my ex, like she was big into Apple Music cuz like it did was not computer people, was mainly phone people. So it wasn't like, "Oh, I'll go put music on the computer and transfer to my phone." if it didn't exist naturally directly on the phone, it just wasn't a thing. So they got into using Apple Music because family plan, multiple people. And so like I just got assumed into having Apple Music for the longest time.
Yeah.
So like when I was listening to music, that's how I listened to it. Or for a long time I just used streaming stuff, TI.fm, Last FM, a lot of it's just streaming. I'm not a person who listens to I want to go listen to this one song. I want to either listen to the 5 favorite songs I want to play on loop because they're my favorite songs, or I want a never-ending stream of unnamed songs and artists and things that I'm never gonna hear again.
Yeah, please
Just
just throw music at me.
yeah, radio, but like not even radio because you actually look at it, radio is a very small playlist because that's what they do. People want to hear the hits. I'm like, I don't know who this is, and I'm never gonna hear it again. And then for a long time, I had Sirius XM because I had it through the car, and then I realized, hey, if you have a Sirius account, you can go and sign in on the computer and just listen to it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even
finally
find
did
where I
can
found this.
finally did cancel that because I have a commute now. All like 10 minutes of it.
Not a bad one, yeah.
Well, there's a number of red light. There's a number of number of red lights in between there, and one of them's at an intersection near a school. And I hate this intersection so much. It makes me want to go get a degree in civil engineering and then get hired by the city and then go into the city planning department and then go into the transportation department just to get a job, to get in there, to be able to get keys, to go in there and fix the goddamn setting on that box and then quit.
Yeah.
You know, they it's an intersection. It's two crossing roads, except because it's a turn into a school, it's effectively treated as not a four-way. It's treated as like a five-way intersection because it's not like, oh, the road is going here and then it's going here, flip flop, because you also then have to have a state where it's the two opposing corners making their turns. But because they need to allow all the incoming traffic to turn into the school, it's effectively 6 positions. Except it doesn't matter after school hours.
Yeah.
You don't need that extra cycle to let the huge oncoming traffic get into the school or then out of the school. It's one horrible 6-way messed up intersection all day. Even in like the middle of the night. It's still there's a whole extra like 30-second long extra turning down that road time in the cycle.
What a mess.
And they fixed it once. They had it one of the years right when they were doing construction. They had briefly turned it. They had turned off because they were doing construction on that road. And then when they're like, oh, okay, summer is over. We have to put it. Construction's over. We have to open it for the school. They briefly had it on the right cycle for 3 glorious weeks. It was on. Hey, we're gonna stop being in school mode after like 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or whatever. And then the city lost power, and then when all the machines rebooted, it went back to the horrible one.
Enough to make you want to just pull your own arms off and beat yourself with them. I don't think
Who
that's
are we?
actually how that works, but
Who were we talking with a few weeks ago about seeing? Like, you can never. Like, it's the burden of knowledge. We can't look at web pages the same way, or even software.
yeah,
We
we were
we
we were
we
talking to Jackson about that with games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you know, like you oh yeah, it was the night we were looking at the code for
The
web phishing.
web fishing one,
It's like
yeah.
once you know how these things work, you can never not see, you know, that you look at any combat scene in the movie, it's like, oh, I know enough about special effects, you can spot where
Mm-hmm.
the squibs are under their clothes. I know enough about dumb random electrical engineering stuff, especially civil engineering, because thank you YouTube and TikTok. I I understand. I know what's wrong. I know what is wrong in that cabinet. If I had unfettered access to one of those keys in about an hour or two, I could probably figure it out and fix it.
Yeah.
And it's that burden of, oh, I guess it's just hard to do. No, it's not.
It's not hard to do if you know what to do, and I think we know what to do. There's just process going out of its way to be in the way to prevent it from happening.
It's basically it's a bunch of Boolean switches in PLC inputs and timers.
Yeah.
It's literally a dumbass GUI and it's connected on some switch. It's a flowchart with hardware inputs. That's all it is, because it has to be so dumb and reliable.
Bunch of ladder controllers down at the base of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like, oh,
Ooh. Ooh. Wait, where's my there, that's where I'm pointing. Ooh, the bus.
bus,
The
the
bus.
bus.
What are you guys
Do we
doing
want to talk about the
Friday?
bus?
I want to talk about the bus. We'll come back to recaps, and I
Working.
want to talk about the bus. Um, Friday night. Well, actually, Friday all evening. Um, which means, yes, I'm probably not going to do music again Friday. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. I'd like to. Um, Friday, the Zeldathon team will be driving a bus. And you should come join us over at twitch.tv/Zeldathon. In fact, let me shout them out in the chat here. /shout out Zeldathon. Um, we're going to be switching off drivers every hour. And every hour we'll be changing the theme a little bit. And I know I just said I'm not going to be doing music on Friday, but let me tell you, I happen to know who's going to be driving the bus at 11 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Um, me. I probably shouldn't give that away. I don't think I'm allowed to leak that. But I will be driving the bus at 11 p.m. on Friday, and it will be the Jam Bus. And some of our favorite friends and musicians will be there performing live on the bus with us. So if you want to hear some music, you should definitely be there at 11. And honestly, you should just be there in general. Come hang out, come ride the bus with us, come raise some money for charity. It's going to be a good time. SideQuest is coming up at the end of the year too. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but this Friday is the bus. I'll remind you. If you're in the Discord, you'll get a reminder there. Let me put that in the chat. And yeah, come join the Discord. I'll tell you when all this stuff's going to happen as best I remember it. Oh, there's some good stuff happening on this bus. Just so you know. It's there are times when it's really nice to be in the know about all the stuff going on.
When are we gonna ride our bus?
You know, I want to talk to you about that. I need to talk to Teeb about that too, but soon. Soon. I have ideas. I have many ideas. I have a really bad idea to pitch you later too, but I want to do that privately.
Oh,
Yeah, it's related to a way that I might want to do something that I threatened to do earlier. Just a mechanic for how something could work, but it's bad. It's real bad. And I need you to tell me all the reasons we absolutely cannot do that no matter how badly I want to. Anyway, bus. Bus. Jam bus. Be there. Be there and be square. It'll be fun. Speedrun Coliseum was last weekend.
the Zelda bus is coming. Do, 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 do. No,
Hope we don't end up in a
no.
secret tunnel. Um, Yeah, what else is coming up? Oh,
The
hey,
secret tunnel to Candy Mountain.
Friday is DGR's thing. He's doing a 24-hour charity stream, and I'm going to be around for an hour of that, helping him out with his shuffler. So I need to remember tomorrow we need to do that thing, because that's a pretty popular gimmick nowadays. I'm
Test it.
excited with. That's what we're doing tomorrow. That's what we're doing tomorrow, so that we know everything works right on Friday.
Preload all the N64 memory cartridges.
That's the first thing we did. We we have verified everything except testing an actual donation through the platform. Every other part of it works, and the only reason we haven't done that yet is because he hasn't opened the Tiltify campaign. Tomorrow he's going to open the Tiltify campaign early and throw a couple bucks of his own in the hat, and we're going to verify that that works the way it's supposed to, and then everything will have been verified at least once, if not twice.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I hear an uh-oh. I'm concerned. You've got a ferocious look of concentration on your face.
It, I selected an icon to look at the properties on it. Then I double-clicked on another icon to open it. But because the first one was still selected, somehow it launched both of them.
Oh, you.
So a thing that I was not expecting to opened.
A surprise program launch. Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Yes, and it was very loud and in my ears and stuff.
Oh, that would do it. That would do it. Absolutely. All right. I want to go see this. Let's talk about our Twitch recaps. Do you want to share yours? Do you want me to start sharing mine?
Ba, ba, ba.
I was going to say, I got a button here somewhere where I can do this. Yeah, share a thing. Share this thing.
A infographic, one
Yeah.
page thing.
What do we got? Let's see. Let's see as a streamer what I did this year. I streamed 238 hours. Those are rookie numbers. I need to bump those up. On a total of 95 streams. Not bad. Could be more. On 76 distinct days. That's one a week-ish. A little bit more. And people watched for a total of 1,500 hours.
Oh wait, how many hours did you stream?
I streamed, 238 hours.
Okay.
Rookie numbers. Total of 1,500 watch. That means I had a rough average of 5 viewers at all times, right? Is that how that works? What categories did I stream? Well, we did this show most consistently.
Yeah.
And then music.
Till Zeldathon ruined it.
And then music, and then software and game development, just chatting. Let's Cafe. I don't even have a sixth. Or maybe they just don't show it and they put the goat there for a laugh. I don't know. We made the game. We made the game. And Let's Cafe is fifth.
Let me pull this over here.
My top stream reached 53 viewers, but no indication of what it is. What are my top tags? Chatty, backseating allowed, and English. sent 10,914 chats. No, that's in my stream. 10,900, almost 1,100 messages. Yeah. Top emotes. There's my screaming Yoshi. The lineman, Jardis Line.
See, what I hate is this is probably the first time that the high res 512 version of any of those emotes as ever gets used.
Yeah.
Like, look how ridiculously high res that line is.
Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? Everybody loves the diddly and the can do can. And I just use the monster all the time to complain. Biggest
Who's your
fans
biggest
of the
fans?
year. Let's see. We got Red, Josh, you, Ash, Zeb, Aunt BJ, JC, M, and Ineffable NPC. That looks pretty right. I'm always happy to see
Huh.
those people. I'm always happy to see those people. I'm always happy to see everyone. 43 collaborations. That ain't bad.
Mm-hmm.
34 with you, and this is episode 35. Yeah, that sounds about right. Gannon
Interesting.
joined us. Jacob joined us. 19 Raiders. Most of them were you, but we got a couple from Red and a couple from Amaya. Sent 66 out, almost half of them to Jiggy, a bunch of them to Amaya, a bunch of them to Ice Blue. They're pretty awesome. 4 clips from 4 unique clippers. And number one is Billy Joel is Taco Bell. Let's
And they didn't put the clip
Is
controls
it
in.
is Billy Joel has 3 riffs and he puts them together in different combinations. Billy Joel is the Taco Bell of adult contemporary music. He's got like 8 things, and all you order is which combination you want of them.
Am I wrong?
No.
It's an accurate call. 93 new followers, 79 new subscribers, 3 hype trains. How did that even happen? And a hojillion points spent from everyone telling me to watch my profanity or to set my house on fire and walk into the flames. I am the rating grass toucher of the year. I'm not sure what they're trying to indicate with that, but I'll take it. And look, I got a badge, a chat badge. And then the infographic thing. Now as a viewer, you know what this is going to say. You already know what this is going to say. I've watched 3,500 hours of Twitch on all but 11 days of the year. Do you remember we had
Okay.
a tornado that took the power and internet out?
Yeah, how many days were you out without power?
Over the course of the entire year, 5 or 6.
I'm at 345 on that number.
Nice. Nice.
Somehow, my most watched channel is Jiggy. Not Pirate Software. Jiggy.
Yeah,
How do I have more hours?
cause he's easy to turn on. That's the thing is he's easy to turn on.
Weird.
And just kind of like zone, you know? I gotta find a thing real quick. I know it's here. I know it's here somewhere. But so am I. Anyway, yeah. Let me get back to this thing. Not that thing. This thing. This thing. Yeah. Top categories I watched were just chatting, so Jiggy. Final Fantasy 14. Wonder who that could be.
Actually, some of that probably came from uh, uh, Cass.
That's true. That's true. That's true. She does
You may
play
have
as
put
well.
her right into her, and then she was
Went from
replaying her
14 to
Dragoon
14 to
event.
14 when I passed out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pokemon was Jiggy. Music is, well, all the musicians I like. Software and game development, that's you. I spent 939 hours watching Jiggy. That's a lot of hours.
see, this is what doesn't make sense. Is my top category for viewing was software and game development, which is entirely from you and well, I guess you and Pirate Software. But somehow my most watched channel was Jiggy.
He switches categories a lot, though. If
Yes,
if
but
you
still,
track it hour by hour, what category people are in.
yes, but for a very long time I was perpetually a night person,
Yeah.
and Pirate Software start streaming at 3 a.m. and I was always up when that stream started, and I would watch him all day as I was doing programming and stuff. Like I perpetually always had that open. Maybe I just it wasn't in focus, so I wasn't watching it.
That could be. That could be. I don't know. It is kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah.
My number one used emote in his chat is Bobble, and that's because it used to be part of his raid call. And my number two is one because I'm still here. Let's see, 736 hours watched of Uber Fuzzy. Man, I wish he'd stream more. Teehee teehee. This is the one that confuses me. 216 hours of Zeldathon watched. How? From what? I was there. I was not watching from my phone. I was looking at it in person. Have we done 216 hours of anything total in the, I don't know. The drive home
Remember,
from the winter one. I'll give it that.
yeah, that's not that long. If you actually think about it, that's what, 9, 10
Not
days?
not 10 full days, yeah.
Okay. How many hours did you have it open on your phone when um uh uh who did crazy controller thing
Oh, yeah, Lewis. Yeah.
every
Yeah.
every weekend
That's
back when they were
true.
still doing all the other
That's true.
and then the other
The
thing that
show
wasn't
stuff, yeah.
yeah, the
Jamie's
other day that
Dungeon
wasn't
Shuffle,
him.
yeah.
Yeah. A couple hours here, a couple hours there every weekend.
I guess that does add up
Every
really
week.
quick, huh?
Yeah.
And then we got Cass and Amaya. Love them both
Mhm.
dearly. I sent 30,000 messages in chat. And across everybody, my top emotes are Bobble and Now. And the one, because I like pressing one to tell people I'm still here.
That's my number one used emote.
The line because it's my raid call, and Tuesday because every day is Tuesday. I had 4 emotes attributed to me this year,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
they
I
were
marked you
used.
down for even
I'll
the
just I'll
uber
just
foo roll that
scroll
you
real
made.
past that real quickly. We're not going to look at those numbers.
What? No, 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 no. Come on. Shame it up. Go on.
You're going to judge me. You're already judging me. I can
I
hear you
never
judging
not
me.
judge you. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have a
Uh-huh.
problem.
Although, in your defense, and you did point this out, a chunk of those you did during the
Oh,
not
a big a big
September.
a big chunk of those. When they
A
had the
big chunk of those
special,
was during, yeah, like 5 or more, and you came in mine and dropped like 20 or something
yeah, I did.
once.
I did go bombing a little bit when they had the super discount, and I did go bombing a little bit in September as well.
Yeah, when they were giving away the random
Yeah.
give away 5 and get a random amount. And
See,
yeah,
there's a question. I wonder if those count as subs gifted from me in this total.
no,
Fair, fair.
I saw somebody discussing it. They're like, because they knew like they only did that once and they had exactly that many.
16,000 chats sent as a moderator in 6 channels I moderate for. You're one of them.
Oh, I just thought about something about the Zeldathon thing.
The chatty just chatting champion of the year. What a way to tell me I never shut up, Twitch. Thank you. What'd you
The
think?
year isn't 2024 isn't over,
Yeah,
which means this is not calendar year 2024. It's from whatever point. It's 1 year after whatever point they did it. Maybe December to December,
I could buy that.
which means there was
Most of
another.
the winter event and
You may have
the
had it.
Yule stream from last year. The Yule log stream from last year is 24 of them Zeldathon hours at least.
Plus, remember when you were up in your room sleeping, you probably had it open on your phone to kind of like keep tabs on it or something.
Let's look at yours. The Rating Adventurer of the Year. 91 new followers, 2,700 hours watched, 37 new subscribers, 14 still out in front of what you're doing. You were in the top 10% for Tears of the Breath of the Echoes of the Zelda, though. Neat.
See, I. Mm, yeah, but you got to remember that 10% scale is very
Yeah,
weird on Twitch.
yeah.
If I have one person watching, I'm already in the top 50. You know,
Zippian
because that tell.
distributions and all of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Satisfactory. I
Also,
watched you play a bunch of that. No Man's Sky. I really liked watching you fish in that one.
oh yeah, they're doing their expedition recap right now. They picked 5 of them from the last year. They do those expeditions. There's like a 2 week. It's like a live event basically, and the fishing was one of them. And there was one of them I streamed recently night because I was capturing it for YouTube. And but they run for a couple weeks and then they're off for a couple weeks, and they do a couple of them across the year. And then in December, when everybody needs some time off, they pick the best ones from the year and they just rerun them back to back to back to back to back, like for 1 week across December. But it's just like, oh, we're going to replay the event.
Yeah. I
So
get
if you
it.
missed it, you can come back because there's unique things on there. Yeah, my actual numbers are not. They're the inverse of you. You streamed, like I streamed more, but you watched more.
Yeah, I consumed more Twitch in total.
Yeah.
But that's
Who did you
because
raid? 10 to Jiggy, 7 to you, 8 to retro commercials.
Yeah, we do tend to end up there a lot, don't we?
It's funny.
It
Oh yeah, I
is.
got affiliate earlier this year.
You did.
Achievement
You
affiliate
did.
unlocked. Yeah.
I didn't get an achievement this year. Well, guess I got to hit partner next. That's how this works, right? When we were going through Jiggies, he celebrated that he made partner. I'm so proud of him. Still so proud of him.
Are you close to any of the achievements?
Probably not. I don't know. I should figure out how to
Wow.
go look and go look.
Wow, I really haven't streamed that much recently.
Yeah, I've missed you. I've genuinely missed seeing your streams. I like hanging out with you in person, but like even just being in your stream and falling asleep while we're playing 14, it takes me back to the good old days, man. What can I say?
Under the thing for Path to Partner, one of them is stream for 25 whole hours
Yeah.
in the last 30 days. That's a requirement for partner.
Yeah.
I only have 22.
It's
Streaming
to
12
show
different days,
that you're
6.
active. There's a reason it's a requirement. It's to show that you're active.
I know, but that's over 30 days.
Yes.
You could stream for 2 hours every 3 days and still beat that by a bunch.
Yes. But that's a sign that you're active.
Yeah.
They don't want to partner somebody who fell over dead after getting an audience. Like literally. Like hasn't streamed in 30 days because nobody has discovered their body in the bathroom yet, you know? They don't want to
That has
accidentally.
Insert me joke about having 2 nickels.
Yeah,
That has happened more than once on Twitch.
yeah. Someone gets a
Somebody-
huge audience and then something immediately happens. And it's like, well, they would have made partner, except they stopped existing. All of a sudden, just poof.
No, I mean literally they died.
Yeah.
Somebody went off to the bathroom, on a break, and it had some medical emergency and passed out. And the only reason somebody even like found them was they were still streaming, and one of their real life friends like had to call in a welfare check because like they went to the bathroom, passed out, hit their head or something,
Yeah.
and actually died. It was like they would have died anyways,
Yeah.
But the fact that they were found in a reasonable amount of time is one of their mods knew them in real life, called in a welfare check to the police, like remotely from another city. Like, look, I'm in another city. I don't have any information, but I do know where he lives. Can you go check on him? We're worried. He went off to the bathroom 4 hours ago, and then they're still just streaming dead air. And yeah, he had like an aneurysm or something and just died.
Man, I got to tell you, like, I hate to admit this, but the best way to check and make sure I'm not dead is look in Jackson Prody's Discord. If I'm not posting inane shit in Genpo, somebody check on me. Not even my own. If I'm not in his Discord stirring up trouble, somebody check on me. Speaking of which, I think we're going to take a few-minute break, not a 4-hour break, because I plan on coming back refreshed and alive from this. But we're going to take we're going to run a couple ads. I'm going to go grab myself something to drink, because my drink is empty. We will be back with you in just a few. Welcome back to the Blue House Bull Session. We are back bulling with you on today, the 8th of month. Talking about our recaps. We've definitely made it through an entire year. YouTube thinks the only two things I listen to are Jackson Perotti and voice actor PM Seymour reading funny Tumblr posts. That's been my sleep videos recently. You know I need noise to sleep. And
Yeah.
my recent choice has been PM Seymour reading funny Tumblr posts because he has compilation videos of them. The thing is, he has them sorted into a podcast, which means YouTube Music recognizes that and says, this counts as a music thing you're listening to because it's a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours listening to that podcast while I'm unconscious. You find your comfort videos and you stick with them.
They did a thing where when they came out with shorts, because people were posting shorts like content before shorts was an actual feature.
Right.
To kind of like, people had clip channels, like, but they had like separate channels so they could, just spam a bunch of short content that were clips, you know, likely exported from Twitch, etc. When they introduced shorts on YouTube as a feature, they automatically categorized any video less than or equal to 60 seconds as a short, but it automatically just went
Yep.
whether or not it was a short. If you just like recorded something real quick on your phone and uploaded it to YouTube, it was now a short.
Mm-hmm.
Which there was no way to turn that off.
Right.
Conversely,
Stop.
they did the complement to that with podcasts sometime this year, as they automatically went through and category when they're trying to make a push to actually be for real podcasting as a platform for it, because that is where all the people go and they want to like build that as a native first feature. They automatically started categorizing any YouTube videos that were over, I think it was 2 hours and then later 3 hours on, as a podcast. Because why else would you be making? It's like, no, maybe people just want to have videos that long because people do that. Because if they detected a long video and a certain amount of talking,
Yeah.
it must be a podcast.
Clearly.
And they just automatically sucked them over into podcast, which puts them in a different player, a different section.
YouTube has made so many efforts to change things, and they've all been very successful because things are now very different than what we expect. That is the most diplomatic way I can phrase that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'll continue to use them. I don't have a better alternative, but I get frustrated too. And one of the issues that I run into is because I will say, without grounding, I will conjecture that because of the success of TikTok and short form content, they moved to the shorts model to change how they do monetization. In order for your channel to hit YouTube monetization levels, to hit YouTube partnership or anything like that, you have to hit far more stringent traditional requirements or a certain amount of success in shorts.
Yeah.
And it's much as I appreciate their efforts, you can't be all of those things. If you're going to be YouTube, don't be TikTok. Yes, people can post short form content here. Yes, I'm sure you want to build your audience of it and all of that. But you cannot make your business model dependent on that, except they can because they're Google and they have more money than God, so.
Yes. Basically.
Oh man. Um, I always wanted to get more into YouTube, and for a little while I did, and now I am dissuaded a little bit because I I'm not dissuaded from creating things. I'm dissuaded from trying to focus more on YouTube because there isn't the return, and there are many other things that I would feel just as good focusing on, especially in light of the game studio. I can focus on games now. I don't have to worry about making video content as much as I enjoy video content. By the way, uh, I don't know.
Yes.
A certain company, I don't want to identify that company by name, but a certain
Mm-hmm.
company announced that they are changing their PTO model and moving to unlimited PTO. And that's
Oh.
making me feel ways about things. Go away. I love you. Go away. Yeah, I suppose you are right. What will people do without my title bars? I did indeed make this. You know, that's what I need. That's what I need. Somebody remind me, somebody throw it in my Discord. I need to make an emote out of the animated GIF of the title bar. The I made this GIF. I need to make that into an emote. It just Jardis, I made this.
Huh?
Do you remember when I was working on the candidate? When I was working for Bruce?
Yes.
We did an episode that was behind the scenes, and one of the things we talked about is the fact that I did all the title bar graphics. And we cut to a scene of me in front of a green screen, and the title bar that comes in that says, you know, my name, overly proud of title bars, and I point down at it and say, I made this. I have a GIF of that, and I need to turn that GIF into an emote. Quit changing your name. I mean, I guess you're fine, but bro, 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 you gotta go. You gotta go. I don't know where you gotta go, but you gotta go. You gotta be elsewhere, Mr. Dogman. You gotta be elsewhere, Mr. Dogman. Boop. I don't know why he decided all at once to start barking and yelling. Maybe it's because I stood up for a minute. Point is, I have such weird feelings on unlimited PTO because there are ways to do it right. There genuinely are. Netflix, who are kind of considered to be the progenitors of this, did it right in that they didn't do any direct tracking. You cleared it with your manager and you took the time off. If they absolutely needed you, the manager could say, this needs to be done by this date. Are we going to be able to get it? You know? But the whole reason they went to that is to avoid having to track it. And it's something that's too easy to fall into the trap of now it needs to be tracked in one way or another, but the numbers are secret. One thing that my boss has always made a big deal out of is use your PTO. It's part of your compensation package.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is not. Now it is not.
That's why they do that.
It
Because now,
absolutely is.
because now it's a perk, and when it's a tracked thing, it's part of your compensation because they are paying you for that time. Which means if it's got to do with how they can deny your PTO request opposed to you telling them I am taking this time off, continue to pay me.
Yeah.
If it's a perk, they can deny it.
Yeah. And when I say Netflix did it right, one of the things that I've read and seen, and thank you to our chatter here for pointing this out, is the model for that came from the top. The executive level, the leadership level made full liberal use publicly and loudly of the policy to show
Hmm.
everyone underneath them, yes, we want you to take time off. You're more productive when you come back refreshed. Do that. That takes a culture of trust, and a certain unnamed company has been going out of their way to dispose of a culture of trust over the past year or two or three. Because they had it for such a long time. They really did. And then they kept taking actions to break the trust of the people down in the trenches. So, what I have decided and pitched and made my commentary and joke about is I have lots of friends in the charity scene. I'm going to find an event for every single day of time off that I request. And if they get denied, I will say, okay, well, I guess I'll just go back to the famine stricken people and tell them that you would prefer they starve to death than I have, a couple hours off to help out and raise some funds. That's my plan.
Ooh.
That's okay. The Make a Wish Foundation doesn't really need to cheer up kids with chronic and terminal illnesses, I suppose. Um, they can just continue suffering, and I'll be here so I can make sure that your next line item ships on time, even though I'm not involved in it. And see, I'm fortunate. My boss at certain unnamed company is the definition of perfect leader. He's the kind of guy that will make full and liberal use of the unlimited PTO to show us that it's okay to do. I would, okay, under my boss, I would face God and march backwards into hell if that's what he said. Because I know he'd be right there by my side. Also, I just love using that phrase. But I have no worries about my direct supervision in this policy. Our team and our manager know how to handle this. I don't know if that aligns with the vision at the top, especially because the vision from the top has been kind of headhuntery. There have been a lot of upper level turnovers. I don't know. I don't know. I
Hmm.
probably shouldn't be ranting about this publicly. But speaking of not ranting about this publicly and identifying certain unnamed company that I work at that I've only said a million times before in the past, do you know what really, really strikes me as interesting about this change coming next year to unlimited PTO?
Hmm.
It's less than 30 days after the announcement that you'd be able to roll over 10 days instead of 5 of PTO into next year.
I'm not the best at math, but and I say this in a professional sense. The fuck?
See, that's the thing. Yeah, like you were told you were allowed to roll over 10 days because they didn't want everyone to disappear right at the end of the year because they have set deadlines in January because they're dumb. Whole different story. Point is, they set deadlines early enough that they didn't want everyone to disappear at the end of the year, so they're going to give you additional rollover time. But now you don't because we're going to unlimited.
Okay.
It doesn't roll over. January 1st, new policy enacted. Any rollover days that you earned and accrued this year evaporate.
Okay. Okay. Hear me out. We take these rocks and we shove electricity into them, and then we teach them to think, and we teach them to do math, and we have them compute math for us. Okay. And once we have that, we let that bake for, I don't know, 50 or 60 years and they get really good at it, right? And they're really good at computing numbers and they can track numbers, right? We put all those numbers in one place, they can do all the math. How about instead of the rollover date for the entire goddamn company being an arbitrary, when the piece of paper turns over and the big number changes, why doesn't that rollover date go from your hire date, your personal fiscal calendar year?
No,
So you can roll over. No, there's no goddamn reason why not. Nobody's doing that by hand. Nobody's tracking that by hand. A computer just says, hey, here's the date. There's no reason, there's no part of anything that a human is involved in any of that process. And if there is, your company is wrong and you should feel bad.
All right. I'm making a corporate mandate for Hergel Studios, and I'm announcing it publicly here. In response to all of this discussion, we are instituting a limited paid time on policy. We ain't making no money, so I am limiting the amount of hours you are allowed to work for pay.
Insert joke about, you get paid?
Exactly. You know, if we ever do hit that point, I would want to be one of the good ones. I am not against an unlimited PTO policy. Like I said, in general, there are ways to do it right. And that would be something I would love to have if and when we get to that point, and for us to model that from the top. And because of our unique structure in the first place, right? If we ever go to a different pay structure where a time off thing would make sense, I would want to do that, and I would want to make it publicly visible and transparent. How about this? Um, I don't know. This is kind of tricky because there's all kinds of laws you have to navigate too.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those where like I want to put in writing. Yeah, I do like the flat model. I would want to put in writing if I were able. You can take off as much time as you need. The amount of it you'll be paid for is commensurate up to a certain amount of how long have you been here, whatever, you know.
Kind of the way they do like FMLA.
Yeah,
Like you can take as much as you want. We're only going to pay you up to, up to a certain amount of that.
but we'll put it in writing
And
that if you need extra days, we're not going to be like, oh no, you burned through your 15 and you need a 16th. You can't do
right,
that.
right. I we talked the other day about being spoiled by being salary
Yeah, yeah,
and having to like having to punch out for your paid 15-minute break.
yeah.
And I was ranting that there's no punch clock in the break room. And the nearest one is kind of across the warehouse. So I have to punch out, walk for a minute and a half, and up a flight of stairs to the break room. And then I have to be back at that punch clock in 15 minutes. So 3 total minutes of my break time is eaten up in the commute, basically. But we were talking, it's like, there's a lot of things that people don't see the other side of. The people who make these decisions are not punching a clock. They are salary. They just show up. They don't have to punch in. They don't have to punch out. They don't have to think about down to the minute. Whereas the people who are like they're speeding and potentially running red lights because that extra 30-second difference of going 35 in that 25 or going 40 or 45 in that 35 may get them to work that extra 5 seconds faster, which when they punch in, because of the way Chronos rounds or something to the 1/17th of a minute, it may round the other way and you're a minute late. And that's your third late this week. So now you've got a write up because the clock rounded from 9 to 9:01 because that makes all the difference.
Yeah. It's gross. It's gross.
I actually got not a write up. I got a thing like, oh, you were late again. I'm like, I was like, yeah, you punched it at 9:01, and I'm like, go pull the camera. There was a line of 5 people punching in and out because it's 9 o'clock, and the entire day shift from all the customer service people all punching out at once, and all the cashiers except for one all leaving at once means I can't punch in at 9 o'clock. And they're like, oh, we'll edit it.
Yeah. That should
And I'm
not
like,
have to be a thing.
and I said, will you also remove the flag that says I was late? They're like, no, we can do that. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. It's really a gross situation in so many ways, and it's so frustrating. And
Harvard time? What is Harvard time?
I am not familiar with Harvard time. I think I have to do some Googling now.
To the internet. Let's learn a thing.
Yeehaw! Where's my button?
Live learn!
Screen? We're going to live learn a thing.
What is Harvard time? Originally budgeted for traveling time between classes. Huh.
Time to travel between buildings, adopted by pretty much all. You can assume that all events start 7 minutes after the scheduled time, which is perfect for people who tend to be late. I've been running on Harvard time this whole time? Now it makes sense. I understand.
It's why no meeting starts at 00 because there's going to be people. Yeah.
I could not have come up with a better timing for that soundbite. I appreciate you so much, Red. Have I told you lately that I love you? Because I do. You're amazing.
We went to the same high school because we live, basically damn near neighbors.
Yeah.
Think back at the logistics that they gave us 4 minutes between classes. And you weren't allowed to be at the door. You weren't allowed to stand up and start packing until that bell rang. Because those teachers would teach up until that bell rang. And then your clock started. And then you had to get all your shit, pack it up in your book bag, and shuffle all the people boarding all the plane at once out into the hallway. Remember, the clock started already.
Yep.
And then travel across that building and then get in and be expected to be seated and your shit unpacked and ready to start when that other bell started. I look at that now and I'm like, and you were expected to be able to potentially go to your locker.
Yeah.
Which may not be anywhere along your route, and also somehow go to the bathroom.
Yep. Just like everybody else. Just like everybody else. That's the fun part.
How did we do it? How did that make any sense?
It didn't. We just did it anyway because we didn't have a choice in the matter.
I just never went to my locker the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I went there so infrequently. I just started carrying all my books with me. I wouldn't even I went there so infrequently, I forgot my locker combination. Because of course they would cycle them every year because you'd get different lockers, different places and stuff. But I didn't go there and I would forget it because I'm not going to remember a combination lock on top of the other 2 combination locks that I have, on top of all the other things you're expected to be learning. I had to go down in the office I don't know my combination lock, and they'd go pull it up and go get it for me. 4 times that year. At one point, I just when I gave up on school, I just left my textbooks in my locker, and the teacher was like, "Oh, you got to turn in your textbook. You'll get charged." I'm like, "No, it's in my locker. They'll find it when they're going to go through and clear out the lockers. They'll find it.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it." And they're like, "All right." If he's like, you're not wrong. They'll find it. It'll balance out at the end of the year. Like, I have to mark it as you didn't turn it in, and they're going to charge you, and then they're going to find it, and then they're going to uncharge you. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. But then I have to go. I don't go get my combination to get my book out and give it to you.
It saves me
Just
that extra step in there. Yeah.
yeah.
Man. There were teachers who would complain if you had your backpack too. That part really got to me.
No, you couldn't get away from the backup. There was teachers that complained if you had your coat, especially during the winter time because people had big puffy coats and they just took up a lot of space and made noise. And I'm like, what do you want me to do?
First of all, keep in mind that there were a lot of people, such as yourself and myself, who were at the discretion of the bus to get to and from school. So
Yes.
they picked how early we arrived.
Yep.
So yeah, it
And
was.
due to our proximity, we were the last bus pickup.
Yep.
So but that also meant we were the last to be dropped off after school.
Man, oh man. And to think they told us those were the best years of our lives? Pfeh. There are things I miss about school, but I wouldn't trade it for what I've got going on in any way. This is way better.
I miss. I kind of miss the structure,
I can get that.
which I think is why some people really thrive in being in the office environment. Is they're like, oh, I got a meeting here, then I got to be here. Like, it's college life. They like, oh, I've got to be up at a place at a time. I can structure. I have tent poles in my day, and I have free time in between. Like, that's college. I've got a 9 a.m. class and a 1 p.m. class, and I've got, free time in between. Guess what? You're just, yeah, or the military. Yeah. Some people like that structure, and that's why they thrive in those environments. And others like, I don't know what I'm going to do today. I may have 17 productive hours in one large block, or I may never get out of morning coffee brain fog all day. Meh.
Yeah, it's a. There are people that need that kind of structure. There absolutely are, and I do not want to shame or put them down at all. I do not enjoy it quite so much, but so it goes. Um,
I think it really leads into whether or not you are a creative or not.
mm,
The
yeah,
people where you like being a cog and performing a function like that structure, but their job is basically meat bag mechanical, but you don't have to be creative. The creative people I need clear my meetings. I need a Zoomcation. Just clear, like, I'll be here working. I just don't want to go to any meetings. I've got shit to do, and I don't want to be interrupted every couple hours for
yeah,
some bullshit stand up meeting.
yep,
When you're in creative mode, that's fine. You need time to work. But there's a lot of people, and when you look at this, you're gonna look at every next time you go to a meeting, watch the people who look like they're having fun and identify which type of job they do. And you're like, oh crap, that's exactly what they're doing. They're
hmm
performing a function, but they're not creative.
Hi there. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh boy, oh boy. Awesome, thank you. I got food.
Your DoorDash delivers directly to your room.
Heck yes, they do. I love this service. It's amazing.
Ash Dash.
Yep.
Oh man.
We'll get
Can
it
we?
geared out. We'll do something with it. Yeah, I see potential
That's what we
there.
do. We get a sprite made of ash, and that's our delivery service, not the sloth.
I
Call it Ash
like it.
Dash,
I like it. I
and then,
like it.
and then get sued.
I think she'd really like that too. No, I'm into that.
Although I think the sloth thing, especially with the coupon and stuff, would be
Yeah, yeah. I need to get back to work on the decorations too, because I want to push that. Even just as a here, try this out. I want to push that out to the beta channel.
yeah.
Just go beat on this. See if there's anything we did horribly wrong.
Get the changes to the save file format in first, but
Hmm.
not any of the content. Let that put that out in production. Let everybody's save games migrate to add those fields to it. So if they flip back and forth, there's just reading an empty array that doesn't do anything.
Hmm.
Then roll it out. That's the thing you have to start thinking about is structural changes like that. We have to launch way in advance so the base is in there.
Do you want a French
It's
fry?
like that's what I'm gonna end up doing with the recipe book changes.
Hmm.
Is I'm gonna split that branch into the structural changes and get that deployed out to everybody, but there'll just be no meta ingredients in the system. But this way, all the rest of the changes can be merged in as we perfect the recipe lookup stuff. But the concepts of those multi ingredients in there. And now we've entered the Hergel internal chat. You muted again.
Welcome to the Hergelman of the show. I sure am.
I'll get the vodka.
I had a very chatty participant over here for a minute there.
Woof woof. Woof woof
Indeed,
woof.
indeed. Speaking of which, there's another branch on that you should be looking at. With the character
I
stuff.
I saw.
Um, that shows how to do the thing that we want to do, and
Yep.
someday we may want to make that a publicly facing thing too. I have ideas.
Yeah. To kind of harken back to one of the questions earlier about like the future and language and stuff like that is what you do when you hit that. You kind of have a roadmap of stuff you want to do, but at some point you look down that road and you can see where your supply of fucks will run out in advance. You chart out your runway or whatever. Like we're never gonna get all this. Where are we gonna get to? And that's before you hit that point, you go open up like Steamworks or what the hell is it called? The thing where you make user generated content, where the
Workshop.
workshop, yeah. You do that and you let people go put in their own assets and add, their own user generated content to add to that within your framework. And that breathes a lot of life into your game post launch because people will go and make, like eventually that would be a really great thing to open up, workshop for the decoration stuff. Is we'll add a bunch of stuff in there. Here's some neat stuff. We have some nice themes. We, some artists. But at the same time, if you have a specific theme set you want for your branding, for your channel,
By all means, make it, drop it in there, have it ready to go for yourself. Yeah.
here's the format, here's the template. Go for it. It doesn't change anything in the game. It's purely decorative. If you load in your Steamwork pack and it's, you can switch over to custom and it loads your custom pack. We're not going to care that you didn't spend 4 stars on it to unlock it. We don't care. It doesn't change anything.
Right, right.
Yeah. It just, these ones you had to earn in game. These are the ones you loaded yourself. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be the way to go forward with it for sure.
I mean, look at the success of the card shop simulator. First thing people did was like, oh, I can just drop in this asset pack and make them actual Pokemon. Cool. Uh,
I still want that game. I'm really thinking about buying it for myself. I don't know that I would want to stream it, but I would like to at least play it for myself. It looks fun. You know me in business sims.
that I do.
All right. I think I'm going to wrap a little bit early today because I'm going to eat this food and beat this dog. Not really. I'm going to feed this dog french fries until he's satisfied. Um, but yes, remember, bus on Friday. Make sure you're following Zeldathon. Come watch that. Um, DGR's thing is on Saturday. I will make sure to post in the Discord about that. And until I see you guys again, have fun, be safe, and be well. We will catch you on the flip side.